Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we desperately try to get the attention of Indiana Jones, and instead we get a lot of weird looks from the old guy in the next seat. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Tom Tapa.
Gerald Christopher Mint and Chip Porter.
And we're very happy to welcome back Chris Eliopoulos.
Whatever his name is.
Epididymis.
Oedipus.
Yeah,
That
Oedipus
works
Chris.
for this movie, actually.
Yeah, hey.
There you go.
Chris Oedipus Eliopoulos.
Oedipus Rex.
Yeah. But thank you for being back, Chris. It's always a tremendous pleasure having you and an honor.
Oh,
having
God,
you on the
I
show.
always look forward to this. Whenever Tom reaches out and says, do you want to talk about even this movie, like I said.
I was very apologetic when I approached you. I'm so sorry, but could you please come on the show and talk about Crystal Skull?
I will say right off the bat, too, by the way, I forgot to mention this in the last one, so I do have some history with this movie.
Oh.
And that is a few years back, 10 years back, I had a relationship with Topps trading cards, playing cards.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I used to do sketch cards for like the Star Wars movies. I did Lord of the Rings. And they had contacted me to do sketch cards for this movie.
Ooh.
So, of course, I agreed. And so a couple months before the movie came out, they had sent me a PDF. They obviously had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and they sent over a PDF file with a bunch of images from the movie. So I got to see Harrison Ford. I got to see, I learned through that PDF that Marion was going to be back.
Wow.
So all this kind of interesting stuff. I got to see Mutt, what he looked like, and it wasn't. What's interesting is they didn't give us any context for what this was. So there was a guy. There was a guy that was named Mutt, and he was in a motorcycle outfit and looked like a greaser. And so I'd have to draw images, and they kind of require you to do a certain amount of each character. So, but I got to do that, and it was kind of interesting, just to have that foreknowledge of what was coming more than most people, which was kind of cool. So
That's very cool.
And I still have a couple of those cards. If I find them, I promise I will send you guys the cards to keep in your collection at some point. I do actually have two. The other thing I have to send you guys is I did some work. Again, I'm just tooting my own horn here, but I did some work for Disney Imagineering.
Uh-huh.
And so the person I was working with, I was kind of like, hey, I just want to get some cool stuff. Like, forget about payments. Give me like cool things. So I had gotten like a T-shirt, and I got like a button, and I got this and that. And then they gave me a T-shirt from Jock Lindsay's from downtown Disney Springs, which is their bar that's based on the Indiana Jones stuff. And then they gave me 3 notepads from Jock Lindsay. So I want to send that to you guys at some point. So
awesome.
After we're done with this thing, remind me or shoot me your addresses, and I'm going to send them to you and make everybody that's listening right now jealous that you guys are going to be getting your own notepads from Jock Lindsay.
Nice.
So there you go.
That's beautiful.
There's my
Thank you,
stories,
Chris.
my Indiana Jones stories.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's the best one yet.
Well, you get free things. How bad could that be, right?
Yeah. We like free Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, Jerry, go ahead. Give us something good.
Oh, wait, we got to book in the minutes first.
Oh, yeah.
Today we're talking about minute 29, which begins with Mutt driving his Harley down the railroad platform to many gawking commuters. And it ends with Mutt saying that Ox's voice is better than a warm glass of milk.
I say that about Tom all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
The Tom's more like a half and half thing.
A lot of heavy
just
cream.
listening to him makes you fatter.
you get a little nauseated if you have too much.
Oh, I just have a glass of water. My God.
How does Mutt know that Indy is here?
Oh, that's a really good question.
How does it? And
Maybe
how
went
does
to
he
the
know
house
that?
or something?
How does he know
well-
that the Russians are trying to kill Ox? Like, how does he? He seems to know a lot here.
I'm not saying there isn't a good answer.
I
But
don't have
if there is, if there is one, I certainly don't have it.
Well, I'll give two.
Okay.
So in the scene, but in the next part of the scene, he mentions that his mom got free and called him to tell him that a letter was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So she could have told him on that phone call, go find Dr. Jones. He's at Marshall College. Whatever. I don't
And
know
then-
how he specifically knew that he was on a train, unless maybe he went to Marcus Cosplayer and asked where he was.
Right.
Crash the emergency family meeting.
Yeah. Maybe Mutt met Deirdre.
I was thinking,
Oh.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
that
Wow,
one
chicka wow
did it.
wow.
Are you my
Mutt
mommy?
and Cougar.
On the train. I love him. So,
His he does this beautiful spin on his Harley, and the sound effect is gorgeous. Like, I love
Yeah.
the low rumble of that. It's almost like a Star Wars sound.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous sound work in this movie.
But is it me that he's driving so slow, and then when he goes to make that spin, he looks like he's going like 50 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Well, that would sort of that's like when you're on your bike and your dirt bike and you like go really fast just to the right end so you can make a skid and skid out like you're super cool. And that would go in hand with his sort of tough kid punk fakery. And, the kind of put on Wild Bunch ones ishness.
Well, so
You know how that goes with the dirt bike, Jer.
I wish, Pete. Oh, yeah, I wish. All I had was that banana-seated Huffy.
You had a green
Never.
machine or something, didn't
Never.
you?
No!
Oh,
No,
I'm sorry.
I
said
had
nothing.
a
I'm
big
sorry.
wheel.
All
I
right.
never could.
I never had a big wheel, Jerry.
I always wanted.
We all
the
have
green
stuff to be
machine
very
and
sad.
the-
Whoever said that life ever gave you anything? It never gave me a big wheel. It never gave Jerry a dirt bike.
No, never
Life
had a
is
dirt
hard.
bike. And the ones,
just
the
take
dirt
it
bikes,
away.
I would remember they used to have a number on the front too. Like you'd have
Yeah.
like
I had that, yeah.
108.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had
That's
all
my
like
number.
the padding, and the padding would say stuff.
Yeah.
Be like Ace or like
That's for when I'm racing. People know what number I am. So when I
Exactly.
win the race, they know like who to give the medal to.
108 is coming to school. There it
I know.
goes again.
I never took my dirt bike on dirt.
You never took your dirt bike on dirt?
No, it was always on the street.
Oh yeah, I didn't have any dirt. Yeah,
They don't know.
neighborhood with streets.
You guys lived in the
Terry,
you guys lived
yeah,
in the nice side of the tracks. On my side of the tracks, it was all dirt.
Darien, they don't have dirt in Darien.
I could
Connecticut.
spit out in the dirt on my
We
living
couldn't
room.
afford dirt.
Yeah, I would scuff the gold bricks and people get mad at me.
We had dirt in our living room.
Grass on the roof.
He grew up in a sod house.
Get off the roof, son.
So Mutt
Quit
is
doing
not
wheelies.
Mutt is not very polite. He's hey
Help.
Yeah.
hey old man.
Hey,
And
old
everybody
man.
looks.
And
The other
Indy
old
doesn't-
man looks.
Indy doesn't turn around. Does he? Yeah, the old
No.
man turns, but Indy doesn't. So does Indy not consider himself an old man, or
Well,
is he
see,
just lost in thought?
I think this is a fantastic little second here, because does that say more about Mutt or more about Indy? And I thought that like maybe it's kind of meta, like he's almost maybe Mutt is speaking to us. He's like, "Hey, old man."
What'd you come
And
to
it's
this
like-
movie for?
Yeah.
It's not going to be like Raiders. What's the matter with you? Think you can just live your cinematic life again? Forget it.
It's been 30
It's like
years.
straight out of the Epic of Gilgamesh, Jerry. It's speaking to you. Hey, old man.
Hey,
Speaking to the
old
target
man.
audience.
Because then he clearly knows that he's like Professor, and then he's like, Dr. Jones. You're like, okay, you know who that guy is. So but he
old
begins with "Hey, old man." I think I really do. I think that's kind of speaking to Indy's character, and speaking to all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
But going
that.
again back to what you said, how does he even know what he looks like? Like even
Yeah, I
if
was
Marion
kinda wondering that.
called him and sent him a letter, she didn't send a picture like,
Yeah.
look for this guy.
He's wearing a brown fedora. That's for sure. If you see
No, it's his
anybody
gray
without a
one,
brown
though.
fedora, I know, but she
Yeah.
she doesn't know that. She's not
He's got
expecting
a
the
5
gray
o'clock
traveling
shadow, and he's wearing
Yeah.
Yeah.
a leather
Oh,
jacket.
It's
maybe
like a
he-
lion tamer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that
no
guy
way that
behind
Mutt
him
should
has
recognize
a
him.
brown fedora, so maybe he thinks maybe he's
Oh.
talking to the guy behind him.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, until he
that-
says Dr. Jones, and then he realizes, oh, that's Dr. Jones. Okay.
See, that guy is actually prominently placed. That true, like the guy that we would consider the old guy, or at least the
Yeah.
guy who considers himself an old man. You know,
Who's
what I mean? He
actually
looks
younger
around.
than Indy.
Yeah.
Apparently, he looks like he might be younger than Indy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I mean, but he says that. I do. I think it's kind of a joke, like a joke
Mhm.
on the whole.
Yeah.
Because he clearly
Yeah.
knows he's like professor.
Yeah. If
So-
he'd yelled like, hey, 40 something, then would he be like, yes?
Hey, light salt and pepper.
Like he just said salt and pepper.
Yeah. Salt and pepper.
Well, then
Are you in
okay,
a John Mulaney bit, or like you calling back a John Mulaney bit?
I was calling back Patrick
Stewart, I know.
hosting. Okay. I'm sorry. Why is that? Did John Mulaney do something with that?
So in his last special, he talks about that as that like it was the coolest introduction, and he says it's salt and pepper.
See, I was just doing it straight from the source. I didn't
Okay,
go
I'm
through
sorry.
John Mulaney. Okay. No, that's cool. Hey, listen.
Pea stew dog, huh?
I have another or my first great question.
All right.
Not another.
Everybody has these delusions of grandeur. I have an excellent
I know.
question. I have a great question. Everybody's
Stop
got
it.
great stuff.
I warn you, Jerry, my last great question didn't turn out to be that good. About the train, where he was going.
It's when life starts
Be
taking
careful.
stuff from you.
Yeah. Let's pounce on him, guys.
So so Indy actually says after the "Hey old man" bit, Indy actually says you're running out of platform, kid, and
Mhm.
That's a
then
great line, by the way.
that is a great line. That's amazing. But then it cuts to, oh my gosh, like Indy and Mutt are at like Marshall College, like drinking malts, and you're like, okay, so how did Indiana Jones get off the train?
He's Indiana Jones. Probably went out the window.
Pete,
going slow. He
was
could have
there, was
jumped
there,
off.
yeah, was there a deleted scene here with like
Nope.
a lion, and a whip, and a whole thing?
Nope. Nope.
No.
What, I mean, seriously, what do you do? Like, whoa, stop the train!
I can see him just hopping off the train. He can
Yeah.
easily do
Okay.
that, but
It's
I
going
do
slow.
worry about where his luggage is. He
Yeah,
didn't
the
take any
bags.
luggage onto the
Yeah.
train with him, so I assumed it was in some luggage
But maybe he didn't
compartment.
have any luggage because he told his boss to send it all to him, to pack it up and
Yeah, but
ship
he's not
it
going to wear.
him.
That's what he's going to wear for like the next 7 days over to Europe and
He
stuff.
does that though.
Like,
He does it in all the
I
movies.
guess so.
He packs one outfit.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
two.
true.
I mean, when it's
Yeah.
it's his traveling hat, it's his
Yeah.
traveling hat.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
every
His underwear
single
stuffed in
day,
there.
he's traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess when he arrives in Leipzig, he takes it off. Like, I'm not
I guess
traveling
so.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puts on like some
Can't be wearing
lederhosen.
this. Yeah,
That's an all new Indiana Jones movie.
I know Mutt's trying to be a punk and everything, and he doesn't care about stuff, and he's too cool for school. But he needs to learn to enunciate a little bit because it absolutely sounds like he said, like Indy says, "What about Oxley?" And he says, "It sounds exactly to me like he says, I'm going to kill him."
It does. It
He says
does.
exactly like I'm going
Yeah,
to kill him. He
I
just
thought
says
that
going to
too.
kill him. I'm like, well, why are you going to kill Oxley? What's the matter? Relax. He's a friend of mine.
Look, I love Spielberg and I love his framing of shots. I think he should have been tighter in on that one and on him, and he should have been.
Oh.
It should have been a little bit more dramatic, like in his face, like he's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
As opposed
that
to it
could
just
work.
seemed like a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I like
Yeah,
it
it
works
didn't-
at like the very last instant of the scene, and then they cut right from it,
Mhm.
and that kind of gives it a little punctuation,
weight,
I guess.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say here as our Mutt watch, I actually really like this line, and I like how it's delivered.
I do
Yeah.
too. I do
Yeah,
too.
like
I'm-
I can't remember the rest of this movie, but right now I have a sinking feeling that this might be Mutt at his best.
It's possible.
Yeah, I'm confused because I'm all on the Mutt train right now.
Like
Yeah.
I like how
Literally.
yeah, I like how he delivers this,
Mhm.
and I even
You're talking
kinda
about that I'm
like
going to
it.
kill. What?
They're
You're talking about
going to
gonna
kill him. They're going to kill
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Like there's a nice pregnant pause, and he kind of
Mhm.
looks up. Now I agree with Chris. It's maybe the shot isn't. It is far away, and they could have for more dramatic effect, maybe accented it somehow. but I do like how he's mudding and it's working. It's okay here.
Mhm. I'll just say as we cut into this scene in the diner, I really like this scene in the diner. I'll just say that now.
Yeah.
To heck with all
Although
of you.
there's something we need to address right at the top.
Ooh.
We've been trying to pinpoint when this movie takes place. And
Okay.
Jerry and I were, as we did in Raiders, surmising that this was Halloween because of the skeleton in the classroom.
Yeah, fall
and I think-
break.
Yeah. Well, I think we've narrowed it down quite a bit because Little Susie, Wake Up Little Susie's playing.
Yeah.
Wake Up Little Susie was released on September 2nd, 1957. And we're
Yes.
in 1957 and the trees are
Oh.
still green. So when did the trees start turning, Tom, in Connecticut?
Oh, like like late
Wait.
September.
The trees always remain green in Connecticut.
Yeah, it depends on
So
your neighborhood. If
I
you
think
paid
we're
for the
putting in
evergreen.
September of 1957. And something about Little Susie's lyrics, I think, are somehow apt to our current project. And I would like to read those to you.
All right.
Oh, wait, Pete, I just want to say I have the lyrics up myself.
Oh.
I do know. This,
Don't step on Pete's
and I'll
moment.
I'm not. I'm just. This is my mother's favorite song.
Wow.
Wake Up Susie is my mom's favorite song.
Wow.
And she always explained it to me as at the time, this 1957, that song was scandalous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, please, Pete.
Well, I'll let you do the scandalous part. I just want to do the part that I think is somewhat fitting for this movie and our involvement in it. The movie wasn't so hot. It didn't have much of a plot. We all fell asleep. Our goose is cooked. Our reputation is shot.
Wake up a little Susie.
You guys have a reputation?
I didn't know. This is the first time hearing about
Not a
that.
good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Actually, if you shoot a bad reputation, maybe it becomes good.
Well,
But yeah,
the-
get into the salacious bits, Jer.
Well, why? Of course, I usually get called on for that. It sucks that it's my mother talking about them now. No, she
Tell me more
explained to
about
me-
little Susie, Mom.
Tommy, stop it. That's disgusting. So yeah, she said, "No, now they both fell asleep in the song. They
Oh.
fell asleep, and the lyrics are, we've both been sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. The movie's over. It's 4:00, and we're in trouble deep. And then it's, what are you going to tell your ma? What are you going to tell your pa? What are you going to tell your friends when they say, ooh la la?" Yeah. So
Yep.
they fell asleep, unchaperoned, and now their goose is cooked.
But they didn't do anything.
That's the absolute worst case scenario. Is they're going to get in trouble for doing stuff, and they didn't even get to do stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All I did was sleep. through
But
the whole thing.
here's what's fascinating is our reputation is shot.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, really,
Yeah.
his won't be. He's going to go
Yeah, his
skyrocket.
reputation is-
She's
yeah.
the one that's going to get the
Yeah.
double standard. Yeah. it's
So
the
you
whole-
think
Yeah.
the old double
Yeah.
standard? Well, one thing I did thinking about these songs. So think about the Indiana Jones franchise. So name another popular culture song that's from any of the Indiana Jones franchise, other than Anything Goes.
I was going to say Anything Goes.
Yeah.
There was a record playing in Elsa and Indy's place in Venice, but only Pete knew what it was.
Yeah, good
I
call.
already forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call, Tommy. You're right, though. There was that.
Oh, they played
was-
the Imperial March was played in Last Crusade.
God, that's
The
right.
Imperial March was played.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Donovan's party, right?
Yep.
Obviously, this movie opens with Hound Dog. So you got Wake
Yeah.
Up Little Susie and Hound Dog.
Is this the sequel to American Graffiti?
It kind of is in some ways.
Yeah, it's got a lot of elements like the diner here and the greasers and the college kid,
Yeah.
the jocks and the
And Harrison Ford.
Harrison
There you
Ford.
go. But he's not driving a cool car.
No, he's
Nope.
not.
Okay, so can we look at this picture?
Yeah.
So in the picture, obviously it's photoshopped. Like Shia LaBeouf, his head is overly large.
Mm-hmm.
in this picture. Like
Yeah.
it's obvious
yeah.
that it's
Oh,
way
you don't
too
even think
big.
that's his body, right? Like, I guess, like
That does look
I
really
guess
weird.
yeah.
You're right.
He looks like he could have been a Porter kid, though.
We say that about any goofed up weirdo kid with a striped shirt, and a booger in his
Jerry's laugh tells me that I'm not wrong, though.
nose. We got him.
The only one difference is he's smiling.
Yeah.
It's very
Wow.
creepy, right? It's like
No,
here's the
it
old
is.
man with the arm around
Yeah.
the boy, like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his hand in his pocket, kind of a weird way. Indy's hand looks so old holding this photo.
He is an old man, as we learned
Yeah.
in the previous
Yeah,
scene.
that's true. What's fascinating is somebody went out of the way to put the ashtray right there. It was a nice touch. They have the super
Mhm.
old school, like, you know, the
Oh, yeah.
you know, you don't see those types of ashtrays anymore when you go to the college malt shop diner.
Yeah. Hey, can I quote a line from this?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. At one point, Indiana Jones says, he's talking about what a brilliant guy Oxley is. He says, put you to sleep just by talking to him.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's kind of how he
But
delivered it.
the irony of the sonorous drone of Harrison Ford delivering a line like complaining about a guy who could put you to sleep just by talking to him.
Well, so
Talking to him.
are they back? What's weird is, are they back at Marshall College right now?
Yeah. They're at the malt shop across the street.
So they,
He's
so
Yeah,
they,
got a
like
Marshall
soda
College
campus.
jacket on.
Yeah.
you see at least 2 Marshall College
Yeah.
jackets.
Or that kid's name is Marshall.
Yeah, there's a couple of Marshalls.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's a
Why
gang
has
called
it?
the
Why
Marshalls.
hasn't Indy talked to Oxley in 20 years?
Yeah, they're supposed to be pals.
Well, you learn later.
I feel like it's one of those Deirdre things.
It is.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track, Jared.
You are. I don't want to give it
coming
away
into
because
place.
you're going to get to it eventually. But yeah,
It's
it is
coming
that.
into focus.
You know what's awesome? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just think of
See?
Marion.
Sometimes we say that things have been telegraphed too much, but I think we're finding that perhaps they have not been.
Well, wait a minute. Well, I can save it for next minute, but okay.
Yeah.
And why is it so busy? Like, I don't remember. Like, it's the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't anybody like in school?
It's a study hall, and they're all skipping, and they're getting some sodas.
No, they're
and
not.
some-
Because in
Oh.
3 minutes, they drive through the library. Everybody's sitting in there, too.
Well, they're the nerds. The nerds
Yeah,
are going
those
to
are
be in
the
the
stupid
library. The
kids to
cool kids
study.
are all at
Yeah.
the diner,
Cutting class.
Reading
jerking a soda.
chapters 4 and 5.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
I like that Indy calls him the ox too,
Does he call him the ox or just ox?
Hang on.
or just ox.
Hang on. No, he
Damn
calls
it,
him
Pete.
the ox. He calls him the ox.
Does he really?
I think that might be next minute, isn't it?
Oh, maybe it is next minute.
Yeah.
Damn it, Pete.
Sorry,
Don't get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
but
I
it
don't
got me
know.
thinking though. Do all the archaeologists from Indy's era have animal-related nicknames? Like I was thinking, Sala the salamander. Okay,
Forestall, the forest dwelling.
my favorite though was Belloc. They could have just called Belloc Loch Ness Monster.
Burn.
Like,
You
Forest
didn't even
all
give that one
the
a chance, Tom. That was-
forest all the forest dwelling. Oh my God! Wait, so speaking of awful and being embarrassed on the show and never smiling as a kid, so Mutt actually says, "Yeah, when I was a kid, it was hard to get to sleep." And you're like, "Okay, what's that about?"
He missed his dad.
Like he kind of throws that line out there, like, and you're like, whoa, that's actually
Well, yeah,
like,
he's been-
telegraph. Well, that's one of those telegraphing things. You're like, I mean, if you know the rest of the movie or a bunch of it or some of it, or that he's sitting across from his deadbeat dad, you're like, yeah, as a kid, it was hard for Mutt to get to sleep.
Well, he doesn't. Well, I think you find out in the next minute that he doesn't. He refers to his dad who died in the
He
war.
does,
So I don't.
which
I,
we'll
I
get
feel
to
like
that.
he thinks that was his dad. I don't think he has a question about who his actual dad is,
Sure,
yeah.
sure,
and he has no
but
idea
I
that he's sitting next to him.
But
Yeah,
maybe he's
no, no,
missing
no.
his dad, and that's why he stays up all night. long.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
can't get to
that
sleep.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
his dad just
sure.
died. If Ox is in the picture already, it seems like his dad's gone already. He's
My
having trouble
dad would have
sleeping.
laughed at the Loch Ness monster.
Pete's gonna have a
The
hard
Loch
time
Ness
getting to
Monster.
sleep.
I was trying to back you up.
But what's that relationship? I have questions about the Ox Marion Mutt relationship.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
Why?
Yeah.
Like what? Like okay, so we are to understand that later on we find out that Mutt is Indy's son, and Ox refused to deal with Indy after this happened, and he was no longer around. Why did she go to him? Like it sounds like he was like an important part of Mutt's life. Like why was Ox all of a sudden? I mean, was it her father's friend, and so like he was sort of like a surrogate uncle? that
Yeah, he
Marion went
might.
to him?
Yeah, there's you get the idea much later on that like Abner and Indy and Ox were all kind of at least pals or some kind of circle of friends, and then Indy's the one who ditched.
But
And so
Abner
Ox
was
was
a
still
mentor
around.
to him,
Yeah.
and
Abner
Ox was a contemporary.
Yeah, I don't get the idea that Marion's thing with Oxley was romantic in any way. I think he was just like he was there. He was a father figure to Mutt.
You don't get to name the ox if you're not romantic, Tom.
Oxes have many
Many qualities.
characteristics
Yeah.
and qualities. Yeah,
Romantic
that can
to
mean
put
a lot of
good-
different stuff.
Not too fine a point on it.
But I guess so. My question is, were they an item?
I think they were.
Really,
Yeah.
I don't remember enough of the movie, but
I kind of don't either. But
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I
that's-
feel
I
like
don't.
I
It
feel
seems
like
weird to me.
the Ox is a little bit more than just an avuncular relationship. I feel like there's something I feel like they were a family unit ish.
But
But did she have
don't-
romantic feelings for him, or was it?
But see, I feel like
she likes
this is a
older
very
guys.
chauvinistic way we're looking at this. Like we expect Indy to have all kinds of romantic adventures, but Marion, we're like, oh, she must just be sitting home thinking about Indy.
Oh, I'm fine with her
She
having
wouldn't be
romantic
able-
adventures. I just don't want her to be with her grandpa. Like a guy who's like old
she
enough
likes
to
older
literally
guys.
be her dad. I know she does, yeah. But well, there's older guys and there's older guys.
Well,
Yeah.
no, they're supposed to be the same age. They went to
Yeah, they were in
school
college
together.
Yeah,
together.
so Indy and the Ox are the same age.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
peers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But granted, Marion was always young. She was underage when she dated Indy for the first time.
Yeah.
So she is a bit younger than both of them. So maybe she has an older man fetish.
Yeah.
Maybe my problem is that John Hurt has been an old man since like 1975.
Yeah.
He has
He's like
always been an
Wilford
old man. And Indiana Jones just became an old man in this movie. So I think of him as being much, much older than Indy.
Yeah.
But then, so if we do conjecture that maybe they had a sort of more romantic relationship,
Uh-huh.
how awkward should it be then when they all come together?
Yeah, see, that's part of what makes it seem like I don't know though. He's also
Yeah.
nuts.
You're
Then,
right.
like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's awkward and weird.
Yeah.
Did somebody say that this screenplay needed a little more work?
Yeah, there's a few more rewrites, a few redrafts.
Just
Yeah.
flesh out a couple things here and there.
Yeah, there's a lot of throughout the movie that I felt like that's what I got about this movie was like I constantly felt myself saying I know what they're trying to do, but they didn't get there.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Like I get it, that's really cool, but they just
So,
didn't.
Chris, why or how does that happen? Just because
Um,
you deal with stories and
yeah,
plot
yeah.
and them developing and unfolding in a coherent
I
way.
mean, this is like a machine. It's a big wieldy thing, right? So, and there's things that everybody wants. There's certain things that people want to get in. Some things that people say aren't plausible or possible. And so they're always kind of doing it like, and I'm sure somebody said, oh, it'd be really cool if he showed up looking like the Wild One, or as Tom calls it, the Wild Bunch.
Whatever. Same thing.
But then that has to carry over through the rest of the movie, right?
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm.
and then sort of it becomes a thing. And
Mhm.
or, ooh, it'd be really cool if we had this in the scene or, but there was so many ideas that they were trying to get across and it just wasn't there. Like they were so busy trying to get this thing done. I think they didn't step up ahead of time and rework the script a number of times. I think everybody had their own little agenda, and everybody wanted their little moments, and everybody wanted their little things that would make their characters better, or they wanted to, and a lot of it was also fan service. Like, to be honest, it's like they were they were trying to wink and nod to everybody out there. Like, this is what you wanted. And I think even Spielberg mentioned it. Like, this is going to be for the fans. This is why we're doing it. And it's sort of like, it's never good to do that. Like, but everything.
This will be by a committee of millions.
Yeah. Like, never give anybody what they want. Like, the movies or the TV shows or whatever, or the comic books or the stories that get people engaged are the ones that don't do what the fans want. Like, they always say, like in comic books, they always say, give us what we want. And when you give them what they want, they tune out, they throw it away. They don't want to deal with it. But as soon as you give them something they don't want, the sales go way up. Like, it's the weirdest thing. And that's what they should have done. I mean, I get the idea of going and trying to do a 50s B movie, but they were sort of doing a 50s B movie, meaning, the last movie, and then like they were trying to piece too many pieces together into this jigsaw puzzle, and it wasn't working fully.
It feels like they're trying to do something a little bit different by doing the B movie thing, but they're grasping on like a drowning man to like just all the Indiana Jones stuff and not letting it be a kind of new thing. Like, okay, aliens, but it's in the jungle, and 50s, but it doesn't really matter because he's in the jungle the whole time. Russians because they kind of look like Nazis.
I'm still hung up on so Admiral Mummert was not the villain that people wanted, but he was the one that people received. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's why everybody tuned in. That's why it was like one of the favorite stories. Is they didn't know what they wanted until they got it.
Now we're gonna need a bunch of Admiral Mummert fan service.
That's right. Yeah.
I got to pitch an Indiana Jones series to Marvel.
Oh, yeah, please do.
I would love to do that. I tried. I don't think they want to touch the property for a while. I don't
have
know.
To, though, right? By the time like 5 comes around or something, they're obviously going to jump on that, aren't they?
I don't. Again, nobody tells me anything. But it's tough. I really wanted to like this one, and there were a lot of things to like, and maybe minute by minute you like it better because you detach from the rest of the story, so it doesn't like fall apart so easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we've
I was
had
watching
a suspicion of that may be the case. Because do
you think you'll like it more minute by minute than if you watched it fully?
Yeah, because we've lamented the fact going through what a ridiculous idea it is to watch a movie a minute at a time and discuss that minute ad nauseum, and of course, and Tom eloquently said, Temple of Doom is not supposed to be watched this way. You sit down, it's fun, you're sweating, now you're in a movie theater, it's cold and you're happy and it's the summer and you enjoy the movie, the end. And, but this one kind of it's had a little bit of the reverse effect. We're all like, oh, and a lot of our, the people on the Listeners Crusade and the fans and stuff of the show have been like, God, are you guys going to do Crystal Skull? How's that going to go? And so we were, I wouldn't say dreading it, but we all know this is very, very few people's favorite movie. And going a minute at a time, it's I mean, it's not god awful.
Right.
No.
Put that on the poster.
Yeah. And I think that we've like a week or two back, we sort of discovered that. What if this movie is more enjoyable just watching it 1 minute at a time?
It's scaring you, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's funny. I think I think on last minute, Chris, you were saying something about like, I watched this movie and I didn't hate it so much. And we're all like,
right.
Yeah, see? And then, but like last week we were with Paul Sullivan. He was railing on this movie. And we're like, yeah, it blows.
I wasn't.
I said we were. Oh, yeah.
But that's the point, though, right? Like, it's not horrible bad, and it's not amazingly good. It's somewhere in that middle where you're like, it almost could be really good.
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't get there, and so you sort of have that. I love it. I hate it. Love it. I hate it. Love it. Like there were even moments, like just moments where you're just like, like even in the beginning. So like there was a moment where Indy goes to help the Russians find this box, and he has no motivation to do it.
Yeah.
And again, that was like what I was saying last minute, which was it's all plot and no story. Like why? Now, here's the thing. Like a simple little rewrite would have been they do. And again, if you want to call it back to sort of like Last Crusade, they pull the gun on Mac and say, well, if you don't, he's dead. And he's like, I've played this game before. I'm not going to do that. I'll do what you tell me to do. And the betrayal becomes even more horrible.
Oh,
He's looking out for his friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah, I do too.
But then you're in the forest when Marion comes back and she pulls the gun on Marion and does this. Like you could have had this, like there are these moments that you were almost there. Like you were just like, oh, if you had just kind of pushed it a little further instead of rushing it through because Harrison had an opening in his schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, to me, the thing that makes this movie very difficult for me is not that it's bad, because I don't think it's really bad. It's that it's forgettable. It just doesn't, at least for me, it just doesn't stick in my head.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a problem.
This movie for me is, I've said, I watched it and I was completely confounded. And I had like stars over my head because I was really excited. It had been 20 years. Indiana Jones, my favorite, guy of all time. Amazing. And then I came out and it was really dizzying. And then I think I made a secret pact with myself that I didn't tell myself. And I said, I'm going to forget this ever happened. and then it's so forgettable that I even forgot that I made the pact with myself. I just continued life as if this movie never came out. And that was kind of it. And that's why
podcast came along.
And then but that's why people talk about like Indiana Jones, and literally people say, well, which of the three is your favorite?
Right.
That happens all the time. No one ever thinks about this movie, as being part of the Indiana Jones franchise. Or if they do, it's an afterthought. They go, oh, wait, I'm in the, basically like your last name. Oh, Chris Eliopoulos.
But I also wonder if this would have been more memorable if we hadn't gotten the prequels. Like I feel like we put a lot of what we felt about the prequels onto this movie.
Well, but I don't know if I think it would have been more. I think the Phantom Menace. It would have gotten everything that the Phantom Menace got. It would have been like that much of a gut punch. Like my reaction to this after the prequels is like, well, this is what we get now. This is what was I expecting? This is what movies
like
are
we're in the stage of life just keeps taking away.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg keeps taking things away from me instead of giving me stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of vitriol after Phantom Menace. This one was met with sort of disinterest.
Yeah,
I give up.
But I will ask you this question. I will ask all three of you the tough question. The two best Indiana Jones followed Judeo-Christian mythology, and the two that are considered the lesser did not. Do you think that factored into this?
It's a great question.
I disagree with the structure of the question.
I said generally
right.
considered.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah. That's probably that's accurate.
I walk my own path, Chris.
I love that's
okay,
wow,
Pete.
I think what you say is I think it's more of a not a coincidence. I think because Last Crusade was aping Raiders so much, then yes, that's why that one's seen as.
But people are familiar with that, and with that familiarity breeds an understanding of what this is supposed to be. Whereas the other two, it's sort of like, what is it we're looking at? What is this based on?
Yeah, that's certainly a problem with this movie. If you try, I've watched the movie a few times since we started doing this, and I couldn't tell you what people are after, what the skulls are.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
right. What I guess the answer is what is it like? What is Indy's motivation to do this? What is the plan to get out of this?
Yeah. What are the
Like,
bad guys' motivations? What are they trying to do? What's Indy trying to
she
stop?
sort of has this half-assed like, I want like psychic powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can
Okay.
like figure out what's going on. It's sort of like he's sort of carrying over the Hitler, wanting things. Now it's the Russians that want these special items. I kind of get, like, again, here we go again. Like, I sort of get what you're trying to do, but you're not there.
Yeah.
And then like what, and then stupid stuff like, why does he help them in Area 51? And then why does he help them in the jungle? Like, he just starts to help them.
Yeah, he does a few
And
times.
there's a moment where like he's got the mind, like it could have been like he was mind zapped when the skull was looking at him, and he sort of has that giddy, like for a minute he's like zapped, and then he punches Mac in the nose, and then he walks out and he's flipping his hat like he's a schoolboy. And then he's right back again. It's like, well, what was that all about? Like, what were you shooting for? And then he starts to help them. Why? Like, what was his motivation to figure this all out other than curiosity? But he was never about curiosity. Like, in Raiders, it was, I need to go save Marion, or I need to go and get this out of their hand. Like, there was like some kind of thing leading him forward. And in this one, it sort of doesn't provide you a real good reason.
God, the whole thing is so flaccid.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm thinking this is Indiana
about Ox again?
Jones. Like, no, you think like if you really think about what has just happened, in our last minute and the previous few minutes, and it's like Indiana Jones is he's lost his job. His dad is dead. Marcus is dead. He's a traitor, or at least being accused of being a traitor after, giving however many years to, he's a colonel in the U.S. military, and he gave, he sacrificed his life however many times to get these medals. It's like every single thing, he's lost it all. And he gets on this train to leave the United States, like our hero,
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't feel any of that.
That should be the end of Act 2, right? Like, or the beginning of Act 2 is sort of like Act 1 builds you up to a certain level, and then Act 2 tears you down. He's already been torn down, but you don't even feel the torn down. Like, he should be like, I have nothing left going on, and then that's the point where Mutt's supposed to come in and give him a new avenue. Like, okay, I'm back. I got we have to go save Ox. Like, forget all this other stuff. But it doesn't feel that intensity that like it has to be done now. Like, everything is sort of like, all right, we'll get there.
Yeah,
like, and I think that part of it with Indiana Jones is like it's a time race. Like, we have to get there before the Russians get there, or they're going to kill Ox if he doesn't do that. Whatever the motivation is, and it just doesn't seem rushed. And that's what I love about Indiana Jones is like he's making up as he goes along because he doesn't have time. And here it seems like he has all the time in the world to sit and look at a book in the next couple of minutes. And, check things out. It's like he should have been like ripping pages out of the book and running out the door.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do like a few of the shots that they have. I do like when he gets on the train and it's like, you're like, is that, I mean, other than, I don't know, Marion blowing up in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indy's sitting there with the monkey drunk, you're like, that would be one of the saddest parts of this franchise. And Harrison Ford does an amazing job acting there too. You really do, but it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't hold up. It's just a 4-second shot, and then I'm lost again. And what are they doing again?
Yeah, there's so much stuff in this movie, especially at the beginning, that just doesn't go anywhere. That doesn't add up to anything that comes later.
Yeah, even if cosplay Marcus like had said to him, maybe it's time you went and hunted down that thing that you always wanted, like that one item, whatever that item is, right? Like some, whatever it is. And he goes, you know what? Those days are long gone. That's not who I am anymore. And then and then you come back to this where Mutt's like, I need you. My mother told me you're the only person that like,
Mhm.
and then he comes back. Like there's like these little moments that you could just have a line in there that would sort of make that turn back to Indiana Jones all the more impressive.
Yeah.
And now
Kind of
it's
like
just
they
sort
did in Star Trek 2 with Captain Kirk. Galloping around the galaxy is a game for the young, Doctor.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Message spot?
Message Spock? Message Brody wannabe?
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm not trying to bash. I'm
No,
literally saying,
look,
No,
like I feel like with
we-
a couple of steps, it could have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my
Yeah.
feeling about like thinking about this movie. It's like it needs a ton of work. They did a ton of stuff wrong, but there's still a ton of stuff. Not a ton of. There's a lot of stuff that's you can't throw the whole thing out. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
And it's maybe doing it minute by minute. It's easier to find some of that stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
What's hard
But
is
that's what
it's
scriptwriters do.
minute by minute, it's under the magnifying glass. So, and
Yeah.
our big complaint here is when you pull back and you get the Google Maps image of it, it's spaghetti. It doesn't make sense.
But so far under the glass, it's pretty good.
So far under the glass, there's some, there's a couple. I don't know about pretty good, Pete, but there's a couple of moments here and there. I mean, but I'm working. I want you guys to know right now, I'm working. I feel like I'm working.
I'm-
Like this is
Mhm.
work. This is work to try and luster up this movie.
And just luster it up, or just to find out where it needs lustering up,
Yeah.
or if it's doing
and
all right.
sometimes
in some
that it
spots.
doesn't. There are parts that are pretty okay.
Yeah,
Part
like the scene. I like the scene a lot.
Yeah.
There are parts that are pretty okay. Speaking
Well,
of,
speaking
hey,
of pretty okay.
yeah, speaking of pretty okay, this just in from Professor Pretty Okay. Does Jones know any non-brilliant guys? A good question. Yeah, Oxley, he's a brilliant man.
Mac didn't strike me as brilliant.
No, he's kind
Yeah.
of a dullard.
Yeah, Max a dollar. Well, there you go. Good answer.
Short round,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Willie.
Last
Short Round
Crusade
was pretty
Brody.
smart.
Yeah, Last
yeah.
Crusade Brody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's okay, real quick. Does Indy mean that sarcastically? He's like, brilliant man, and he's like, is talking to him will put you to sleep, and you're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Which
Is that you
is he
contradicting yourself?
Yeah,
or
are you being sarcastic? Is he?
I
a
actually
brilliant
think
man?
that is. If you think about it, there are people who are like that, who are like, "Oh my
Sure.
god, that guy's a genius." I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want to sit and talk to him for hours, but he's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like me.
Exactly. That's what I was going to
There
say.
you
Yeah.
go.
Don't let me corner you. I'm going to bore you to sleep. But I'm a genius.
Yeah, don't get in an elevator with that man.
No way. Let's just push all the buttons. Make the ride go a little longer. I got stuff to say.
Speaking of wanting the ride to go longer, Chris, you have an amazing body of work, and any
Amazing
of it you would
body.
like to share?
What?
You're the ox.
I am.
I almost spit my drink out. You got me. I was like, "Oh, Chris is pug, but he's gonna plug his books and stuff. I got time to drink." You're the
Oh, I'm sorry. Was there a question in there somewhere?
No, yeah. What? Tell us about.
No, I don't need to tell you about anything.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Well, let's see. I'm gonna name off things I did. I did a BB-8 story for Star Wars Age of Resistance, which came out in August,
That's amazing.
and I did another name check. Did you guys? Well, since you're related sort of to Star Wars Minute, I name checked Alex Robinson again, and name checked Josh Flanagan in that one.
Yeah.
So my goal is just to get all of you guys into these books at some point or another.
Please do.
Please do. Speaking of body of work
be
and
lovely.
great body.
The hard part is Tom Taylor does not sound very Star Wars-esque, and Jerry
Yeah.
Porter does not translate well to.
What if I could
So
have
I
like a G Porter unit?
That's true.
Something-
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
one.
maybe. I mean, it doesn't need to be like Gerald Porter. Yeah,
It could be like a
something-
G-
porter
GPTR?
droid, like
Yeah.
a porter droid that
Yeah,
GPTR.
Porter droid. You know what they are? They're
Yeah.
useless. They get angry. They're blowhards.
They have good rhythm.
Or like a GCP, Gerald Christopher Porter. Yeah, there they go. You know,
There you go.
Just a
GPTR.
couple of ideas. The
don't know why Jerry
GCP
doesn't
broke
write
on the Cloud City car.
Yeah. See, it's like C3PO, but GPTR. Jerry Porter.
Nice.
Geppetto.
I'll have to think of this one.
All right.
I'll have to work on it.
Okay.
I have a lot to work on.
Love
You
that.
work on that, and listeners, work on coming back here Friday for minute 30 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute. Marcus the Meerkat. Baraka the Barracuda. Marion the Carrion. Katangaroo.
I found him. Where? Werewolf.
That's got to end at Katangaroo.